Good morning, YouTube. It is Friday. Yes, Lord, Friday. And I left out of the house. I have the bangingest. Yeah, I know that's not a real word, but I have the most banging headache that I could possibly have this morning, which I know is fueled by sinuses. I tried to rinse them with my sinus cleanse this morning and use a little Flonase, so maybe it'll go away. Not sure. So with that, I forgot my earrings. I didn't put on my cold, just, it's Friday. Who cares? I ride to work, and I'm here now. I'm in the parking lot. I'm not driving. So I ride to work, and I listen to CNN, which I wake up to CNN. I go to sleep with CNN, and I ride to work with CNN. And I'm making this video because of the whole Governor Sununu thing about Colin Powell, only voting for Obama because he's black or whatever. And my video is not related to that. It's just related to something else that made me think that made me think about that I kind of wanted to talk about today. I catch a lot of flack a lot of times on my Facebook page because I'll go out and say that I am not sure that I am voting. I have a pretty good idea of whether or not I will be voting in the presidential election next week. But for a long time, well, let me just say that it's not something that that I look at lightly. However, I don't do it just because someone says, well, you have to do it because your ancestors fought and blah, 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 split. You know the routine. And I'm sure I'll get comments on this video, maybe saying that I'm ignorant or something like that. But you know what? The comments you leave are ignorant. So that shows your ignorance. But the reason why I make this video is because, there's all these, cliches or things out there that people say if you don't vote. If you don't vote, then you can't complain. If you don't vote, then, your ancestors died in vain, or they died so you can have the right to vote. What's some of the other ones? I can't think of any other ones. But the main two that I just stated, are the two that rub me the most wrong. Number one, if you don't vote, you can't complain. That's not true. Voting and complaining don't go hand in hand. Complaining is not a right. Complaining is inherent. And you do that whether you voted or not. Quite often I haven't voted for whoever is on the city council, whoever sits in the, on some board of directors where I, shop. Because corporations have board of directors and they appoint CEOs, and you haven't voted for them. I move a lot, so usually when I get to a new city, I haven't voted for anybody in that city. But if something goes wrong, trust me, I will complain. Complaining is inherent. It's not a right, it's inherent. People are going to do it whether they like it or not. They're going to complain whether it's good or bad. They're going to complain whether you've done your best or you've done your worst. People will complain. So complaining and the lack of voting does not go hand in hand. If you do not vote, you still have a right to complain. Because if I don't vote for a Republican and I voted for the Democrat, but the Republican wins, that means I don't get to complain because I didn't vote for that Republican? No, I still get to complain. So they don't go hand in hand. You still get to complain. About our ancestors dying for the right to vote, that is definitely true, and I hold that very high, with high regard. However, they did also die so that, and a lot of them fought so that we could get quality education. Yet our culture is probably one of the least educated culture in America, in the world, probably. So it's not really looked upon with high regard. There's a lot of things that our people died and fought for, yet we continue to shat on that name, or on their name and their efforts. Just look at the crime. Look at black on black crime. Look at your city. Look at what's going on, and you can put some disgrace on all of those efforts. So voting is just one of them. And this video is not really about me not voting or me not wanting to vote or me not deciding to vote. This is not what this video is about, because as I said, I have made a decision on whether or not I will or not. So this is not really about that. What this is about is, I wonder how many people actually research their Congress people before they vote. Or have you voted early and you just went to the poll and you just looked at Democrat, and you just check right down the line. And you didn't do any research on that congressperson. You didn't do any research on those proposals, yes or no. You just read them right then and there while you were there, and you check yes or no. I know there are some who do their research. I'm not taking anything away from you. But I want to know, as a whole, the majority of people, who does their research? Who does their homework? Because one of the reasons why I say that I don't vote is because I believe that no matter who the president is, America will be the same. I believe a president is a president is a president. And once you become a part of that elite club called president, you simply become a president. And there is no more Democrat or Republican. You are what they consider to be a president. It's a small club. It's a small club. There's only a few presidents living. That's why you see them taking pictures and photo ops all with the same suit on, kind of like a uniform. You know, they all talk. It's not like Obama doesn't talk to George Bush, G-Dub. He does. They all talk. So that's why I say that. And so my thing is if you're not researching who the Congress people are, if you're not researching who you are sending to Congress, then truly you don't know who you are sending to run America, because Congress runs America. The president just executes the laws. Congress makes them. And if you don't know who you're sending, that 535 people that sit in Washington, D.C. half the time, because if you watch C-SPAN, you will notice that half of them are never there. More than half of them are never there. Who are you sending? Who's representing you in that voice? So if the laws that are being made and churned out are not conducive, to Americans, why do you keep sending them there? Case in point, there are congressmen, congressmen, not women yet, but there are congressmen who have been in Congress for more than 50 years. More than 50 years. This is 2012. Take 50 years off of that. Where do you go? 1960? Are you kidding me? More than 50 years. There's congressmen there. More than 50 years. In the last, 20 years. Think about how far we've come technologically, economically. Think about how far we've come. And you have someone who's damn near 90 in Congress representing you as a 30-year-old or a 20-something-year-old or a 40-something-year-old. You have someone that old representing you. We do everything today by email, internet, virtually. Everything is almost virtually. Look at YouTube. You're watching me virtually. And I've developed friends and friendships virtually. And you're sending someone to Congress who's been there for more than 50 years. That is the point. That is the point. Is that you have to have someone there that's representing you. But I digress. I started a blog on all of this. It's called Give Up the Seats. I haven't worked on it in a while, but I do plan to. I haven't worked on it because since I started school, I've been kind of putting all that brain power over there. But I do plan to shoot in there, in and out, to maybe incite some kind of grassroots movement. I don't know. I don't really have a goal for the blog. It's just a blog about what I think about Congress and what I think about those who've been there for so long. Give up the seats. Give them up. True, you may have contacts and some know-how and some savvy, you know the ins and outs, to Capitol Hill. Share that with someone else who's coming up. Be a mentor. That's all I say. But I don't know. Who knows? I'm ignorant for not wanting to vote, I guess, and I don't believe that makes me any less smart or any more ignorant. I think it makes you ignorant when you say it. And you know what else is interesting? Is that I always hear if you don't vote, then you're voting for the other person. Well, generally the people who say that are people who are voting for the Democrat. I won't say whether it's Obama or Romney, but they're usually the one who's voting for the Democrat. And they usually assume that if I did vote, I would vote Democrat. Why? Because I'm black. No, boo-boo. No. I vote for the person that I like. Not because I'm black and Democrat or vote Democrat. I think I did vote like that in the past, but that's not how I roll these days. So you don't know who I'm going to vote for. So what if I do go out and vote Republican? Then what? Oh, I got this one on my Facebook. Well, I wouldn't understand that either. Of course you wouldn't understand that. Of course you wouldn't, because really, you're not commenting because I'm not voting. You're commenting because you're emotional that I'm not voting for the person you want me to vote for. That's what this is all about. Don't say I'm ignorant because I'm not voting. Say you're mad because I'm not voting for the person you want me to vote for. And then maybe if you told me why you wanted me to vote for the person you want me to vote for, I would have some sympathy. You could appeal to me and change my mind and make me vote for that person. But no, you attack people by saying emotional things like you're just ignorant. How ignorant is that? I've never heard a Republican, and I have friends who are black and Republican or support the Republican Party. I've never had one come to me and say, well, if you don't vote for Romney, then that's a vote for Obama. I've never heard them say that. And that certainly works both ways. If you don't vote for Obama, you're voting for Romney. If you don't vote for Romney, it works both ways. Both parties could say that. Both people could say that. It works both ways. The point of this video, the absolute point of this video, is have you done your research? If you're out there voting early, have you researched those congressmen? Have you researched those proposals that will affect you where you live right now? Where you live right now. Because some laws that the president may or may not get through according to his 5-point plan, because they both have a 5-point plan, those may not be effective right away. They may not affect you right away. It trickles down. You hear that a lot, the trickle down effect. It trickles down. But those congressmen that represent your district, that represent you in your district, those councilmen, those commissioners, those proposals that affect you are on that ballot also. So before you just run out there all hasty to cast your vote for whoever you're voting for in the presidential election, do your research on those also. And in 2 years, do it again. Because no one pays attention to that 2-year election, that mid-presidential election. It slides right through. And Congress people know that. They know that. They know you're not going to research. They know that. And they slide right through to Capitol Hill. Do your research. That's all I'm saying. So, I'm out. It's Friday. It's payday. Gotta love payday. Payday, Friday. I'm going to get it in. It's 8:41. Peace.